I get started, I'd like to briefly explain my 7 energy point chakra spread. The cards on the left are the unconscious inner self. The card in the center is the heart. And the 3 cards on the right are the conscious foreself. The card on the bottom left is the base of your spine. It's a combination of many things, from past lives to tragic or cherished childhood memories up to the present. We're always culling and bringing new things into our lives and evolving. That's why I'm calling it sourcings and urgings instead of foundation. The second card up is your pelvic or sacrum. And this is awakening or arousing. This is where your spiritual awakening is, and growth of all kinds, and includes your sexual prowess. This can be a cosmic life breath. The cosmos has natural laws that live in harmony, but we don't always live in harmony with them. The top left-hand card is the solar plexus, or what I consider sensing and feeling. This is where you get those gut feelings about something when they're right or wrong. This is also a universal life force, contrary to a cosmic life breath. This is where chaos ensues in our lives. The center card is the heart of the matter, or the situation. We're always asking questions. Why did this happen, and what's going to happen next? The heart of the matter must connect with the unconscious and the conscious, so we can leave our shadow self in the dust. Another Jungian reality here. And maybe have more of an understanding of what's happening in our lives. The card on the bottom right is the throat, or what I consider communicating and teachings. It has to do with how we accept the rules of society and how we live our life. Are you living a conservative, orthodox life, or more of a new wave, do what you want kind of life? The second card up is the third eye, or seeing or envisioning. It's more of bringing things from a linear to a 3-dimensional perspective. The third eye is our pineal gland in the center of our brain that's activated by light. So this can also be considered enlightenment. The card on the top right is the crown, our knowing and understanding. You can have a lot of knowledge, but if you cannot apply this knowledge wisely, it's not wisdom. In the past, I used to pull a hidden Rider-Waite card as I was doing the readings, but for logistic reasons, I'm going to be pulling all of the cards at once, and then putting these clarification cards alongside each of the main cards as I'm telling the story of the reading. The subtitles will direct you through this so you don't lose track of what's going on and where I'm at and what card I'm reading. And then on the left, I'll be putting a past card, and on the right, I'll be putting a future card. And then underneath, there'll be a Doreen Virtue Messages of the Angels card. And on with the readings. Hi there, Virgo. As I noted in my planetary introduction, 5 planets at some point in time, not at all at the same time, are retrograde in April. This energy is causing all kinds of discord, arguments, disagreements. And with Mercury going retrograde, I believe April 9th, it's causing misunderstandings. And on top of that, Venus has been retrograde and will be until mid-month. And this is causing all kinds of disharmony in relationships. Every sign has had different ways of dealing with this in order to continue progressing. But it's been a very hard time. It's a time to stay under the radar and stay in flight in a holding pattern until you know it's safe. And here, Virgo, you're having a little bit of personal problems too. And let's see what's going on in your spread. Down at the base of your spine for sourcing and urgings, receive the Ace of Wands. It's great to receive an ace, the first card. It's about high energy and go for it. Creative, inspirational, action-oriented change. It's a new spirit that's entering into your life. New beginnings where you're gaining confidence and courage anew. And here the clarification card's a great card too. It's the Ten of Cups, the happiness card. It's a glimpse of heaven over the rainbow of cups. It's harmony with friends and family. You've been through a lot of storms and all of a sudden the rainbow is out and life feels good to you. But there's one requirement for the Ten of Cups, and you have to live a simple life in order to be happy. A complicated life is not a happy life. Now up in the pelvic or sacrum for your arousing and awakening, receive the Hermit. That's you, Virgo, ruled by the planet Mercury. And you're seeking wisdom and enlightenment. You're seeking enlightenment from the light of the lamp and guidance from his staff. His presence indicates a desire for change in your unconscious inner self. It's kind of a personal mission of desperately seeking you in this case. You're going on a self-discovery. Wisdom is the breath that renews all things. And this is what you seek. And you also seek illumination, which is Latin for spiritual enlightenment. And the clarification card is excellent too. It's the Seven of Pentacles. I call this almost the harvest card. It's like you're a farmer and you have a crop that's almost ripe but not quite. And this is the attentive time. It's the very perilous time where you could have a flood, hail, frost. You may not receive the abundance for your labors. So you have to stay vigilant. Now up in the solar plexus, you receive the Devil. This is where the meat and potatoes come in. This could be an addiction, hedonism, some kind of denial, selfishness, pitfalls for the shadow self, bad choices, facing what you fear the most. But I think you kind of let things get out of hand. Virgos are there to serve. It's the cat and dog type syndrome where dogs have masters and cats have servants. And somebody's acting like you're the underdog and they're the cat and they want to be served. I could say it's the other way around, but I don't feel it that way. There's some kind of fear, bondage, dominance going on. Something really narcissistic about that. And this has to do with the clarification card, the Knight of Wands. This immature knight can be very cutthroat. He's fire energy and he makes smoke that blinds him, and he doesn't even know where he's going. It causes confusion. Only his horse sometimes knows the destination. And I don't really like the Knight of Wands because I've seen many times where he gallops by and wallops somebody on the head with his wand and just knocks them unconscious. This is a very immature feeling to him because his actions are thoughtless. And it's not until he slows down to a gallop does he even realize what he's doing. This is where quick and unexpected things flow in his arrival and wake. And this has a lot to do with the Devil card. Capricorn rules the Devil. And this might have something to do with a Capricorn because you receive the Devil card twice in the spread. Somewhere somebody's treating you very condescendingly. They're a manipulator. You're obsessed with control. Because you're the type that's really easygoing. Yeah, fine, I'll help you, I'll do that. But when it comes to the point where they're emasculating people into eunuchs, it's really time to do something about it. Now the central card is the moon. There's secrets, hidden things, deception. And the reflective light of the moon can be so dim that it can really instill fear. There's a darkness in your life, but it's not that light fails to shine. It's that you fail to see it. Things aren't what they appear to be. And I think your mind has been playing tricks that everything's been okay, hunky-dory. And you got the Ace of Wands and the Ten of Cups. But something threw you into personal isolation to find enlightenment. And now you're doing some soul searching. The clarification card is the Ace of Cups. It could be a new lease on emotions and loving, making deeper relationships. Doesn't necessarily to mean a love affair, but it's more of a seed of emotional awareness, the budding, an offering of a spiritual awakening. It's a holy grail waiting to be filled. It's a person that loves to be loved, and that definitely is a Virgo. And this is what you've been seeking. But in this instance, this Ace of Cups has a lot of strings attached to it. There's no unconditional love from some people in your life. It's more like, you do this for me, and maybe I'll do that for you. Now on the bottom right, for the throat and communicating and teachings, you receive the Justice card. Oh yeah, there's going to be some comeuppance because, as you notice, the clarification card is the Devil card again. Somebody hasn't acted right. They've acted very immaturely. They've acted like a tyrant. Let's just get down to it. And now Justice is going to start wielding her sword for punishment and accountability. There's going to be a change in the pecking order, it appears. And it really is time for something to change. You don't have an enemy, but you do have an opponent. Somebody that's vying you, pushing you to the limit. And all of a sudden, you're changing. Up in the third eye, for seeing and envisioning, you receive the Nine of Cups. It's a wish card. You've wished for a very long time for change. And the clarification card is the Strength card. It's time for you to buck up and find some strength. Now it's time to tame the beast of the other person. Dispel your fears. And when you dispel fears, normally it's finding patience. But here, there's a reason for you to have lost your patience. And you just want to find a spiritual domain of enlightenment and go on with your life with the balance of compassion and intellect that you live with. This is coming down to mastering your challenges, or they will master you and continue to. Now up in the crown, for your knowing and understanding, you receive the Lover's card. You want an egalitarian, harmonious relationship with somebody, and I don't think you found it. And this doesn't necessarily have to be a love relationship or your spouse or your intended significant other. It can be through family and friends. But this card makes you make a decision. It's about choices of vice versus virtue. And you have to make a good choice. Now the clarification card is the the High Priestess. She's the translator from the cosmos to earthly. She's the one that brings dreams and intuitions, and sometimes even just coincidental things that all of a sudden you think, wow, what happened there? Because her subtle message has suddenly been heard by you. Now the past card, once again, is the Knight of Wands. This immature, narcissistic person that's making your life miserable. The person that gallops by every time and condescendingly whops you with the wand in the head and says, hey, stupid, what are you doing? Now the future card is the Five of Swords. This card's about having a battle that's not worth it anymore. People just threw the swords down and walked away, and maybe this person that's holding the swords thinks they were the winner. Ha ha ha, goading. But in reality, you can't leave your life like that. You have to start taking control of it. Having the strength to do that. Changing the whole pecking order and demoting the person that has been antagonizing you. And I pulled a clarification card for that just to see what's going on, and if you can overcome this personal problem with somebody else. You got the World card. The cycle is over. You've broken the routine, and now you're on your own, and you're free, no longer in bondage from this one person. Okay, and now for the Doreen Virtue messages from the Angel card. You receive Layla. Spend time alone in nature, meditating about your desires and intentions. Ask the angels to help you gain a positive perspective. I think that has a lot to do with the Hermit that's ruled by Virgo. You went into a meditation, and you're changing your perspective all the way through the spread. And I wish you acceptance, peace, and happiness.